This is an amazing location. This town has quite a deadly history. This was a huge, huge area. Frisco Cemetery. This is a large cemetery. Welcome everyone to Weekend Escapades. Today we are in Frisco, Ghost Town in Mining District. This is an amazing location. We're going to share with you the old kilns. There's 5 of them here, and what's left on the ground, and some of the foundations of the buildings. And not only that, we're going to go see Frisco Cemetery. This town has quite a deadly history. Come along and join the adventure. Established around 1879 as the hub of the San Francisco mining district, Frisco sprang up quickly after the discovery of silver at the Horn Silver Mine in 1875. By 1880, the population swelled to around 800, rising to a peak nearly 6,000. God, nearly 6,000 people by 1885. This was a huge, huge area. In between 1875 and 1885, the region yielded a staggering return of over 60 million in silver, lead, copper, zinc, and gold. The town was connected to the wider rail network through the Utah Southern Railroad extension from Milford. Yeah, so there is 5 kilns here. It looks like the one directly in front of us, like number 2 here, has actually fallen down just a little more. There's a chain link fence all around these kilns, but the fencing is down and people come in here and take photos. Pretty harmless if you're just taking photos, but you don't want to throw rocks or remove rocks because who knows how sturdy they are. It gets hot and it gets freezing cold here. So the construction of this area really takes a beating in the winter. You can see each one of the beehive kilns are a little bit different shape. This one over here is a little bit shorter, squattier than the other ones. Every one of them just a little bit of a different peak to it, but similar. Let's go inside this one here. This one looks all intact to the right. Very similar to the other kilns in Silver Reef in Old Irontown, but these are much bigger than those. And let me tell you, there's some giant sized rocks laying on the ground, so probably should have a hard hat on.
Smells like fire.
Yeah, it does. Whew. I think a lot of folks still come in here and have fires and campfires and have some fun. A lot of people side by side and recreation vehicle out here. A lot of people camping right now. I think that might be due to maybe deer season. I see a lot of people camping and so forth. Maybe this is a good area for deer hunting. And here's this kiln. Again, a little bit shorter than the other one, but maybe that's because half of it is on the ground. You don't see it from the front. The whole back side of this one's caved in. These are really big compared to the other kilns, like double the size. Irontown is about what, I'd say half this size. Yeah. And then, again, Silver Reef with the, in the children's forest, we filmed that, put that up a month ago or so. More of a sandstone style kiln. These rocks are like, I don't know what they're made out of, but they're definitely a different style. They got a lot of shine to them. So maybe it's I don't know much about rocks. Maybe it's a quartz style rock, a little bit harder than the sandstone for sure. Look at this one, it just fell into a pile.
Not much left.
You don't realize how much rock goes into it until you see it in a pile on the ground. Look at all that. That was all on top. So these beehive kilns are really a landmark for Frisco. A lot of people have photographed these and put them up, but to be here and actually see them and realize that it was because of these kilns in the Silverhorn mine that all of these people lived here. And this town was really rough. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as we get down towards where the town would have been and how they cleaned this up. And one sheriff literally brought this town to a more calming manner, if you could call it that, in the Old West. Let's just say there was no jail here and you didn't get arrested. You either left town or you got taken out with a bullet. This is quite a tight location to get into. There's a lot of side-by-sides come up here, but we brought the all-wheel drive car in today instead of the van. We thought it would be a little bit tight for the van, so we're going ahead and getting the Subaru out. And let me tell you, the Subaru ground clearance and the all-wheel drive does really well on these roads. As you can see, it doesn't look like too tough on the camera probably, but this is a smooth spot, but it gets a little windy and tight in here. All right, so we've made it over to the, I guess, kind of the part of the mining operation, but where the town would be as well. And I'm standing on what looks like a slag pile of some sort. You can see the coloring on the ground, completely different. And this kind of runs on a ramp and straight down from where the furnaces would be. That, I guess, the foundations we were looking at, where it looks like there might have been a rail system or something. But right off here to the right, over here, you'll see some of the mining material. There's some buildings that have collapsed, and right over here next to us, we're going to go down and take a look at this one to the right. It's kind of a big cement pit, and it has a roof that used to be over it. So let's see what these are all about. All right, so this building over here, it's got to kind of watch here. We're going through the bushes. As we always said, we have not encountered a rattlesnake yet. Don't really want to. Being very cautious. But this building here had some tin roof on it. It fell in a while ago. Saw some pictures where this was actually still standing, but no longer. And if you know what this would have been, that was a giant lizard. If you know what this actually was, let me know in the comments below. I always like to know, because again, these mining operations are all a little different, but it looked like this was some kind of a storage facility, maybe water, because it's all smooth on the inside, and you can see where the tin has fallen down, and it all had a roof just like that. It's a little better look at what it would have looked like when the roof was on it. And all the material that fell down inside that was the roof. Some pipe in there as well. So again, if you know what this was, let me know. So just off to the, I guess the south of that building is this one. It's very similar, but smaller. Again, looks like another storage, kind of a tank. Looks like almost coal in there, but I can't remember, I think it's iron. As we all have to look that up, but it was the black in there is part of the mining operation. Some of the things that were here. Again, if you know, let me know in the comments, but I almost think that's iron, the black stones that are in there. And I'm pretty sure this one had a roof on it as well. There's a lot of wood there, but no tin. Ooh, some loose rocks here. There's another large building over here we'll take a look at. It looked like it was decaying and the rocks were falling, but it's managed to stay up pretty good. It's still all there. Well, what was there. All right, so we found our way to this foundation here. This was one of the main buildings. And I don't know exactly what the building was as far as history goes, but this was a solid building. Now, a lot of these places is where they stored ore and they had the, the offices for the mining boss and all that. So to be able to find out what the grade of the ore was that they were getting, I'm assuming that this might be it, because those were some of the better built buildings. But back to the lawless streets and the iron-fisted sheriff that was in this area. So Frisco was definitely without rules. Frisco earned infamy as perhaps Dodge City, Tombstone, Sodom and Gomorrah all rolled into one, featuring 23 saloons, brothels, gambling halls, and rampant violence. Murders occurred daily. It was said that there was as many as 2 murders per day. So prevalent were the killings, that the town basically contracted a wagon to haul bodies each morning to Boot Hill, the cemetery that we're going to head over to after we leave here. And so you enter Sheriff William Pearson, right? The Iron Fist Sheriff. So in response to the chaos, Frisco hired Sherman William Pearson from Pioche, Nevada. And we've seen Pioche, we've got the video on that. It's a really fun town. But it was lawless at one time as well till the sheriff went there. So they empowered to basically impose order by any means necessary. And legend says he arrived and declared he wouldn't build a jail. Outlaws were told to leave town or be shot. That very night, he allegedly shot 6 known outlaws, swiftly bringing Lawless under control. Can you imagine rolling into a town and saying you're the sheriff? And it's just a lawless town? And they say, oh, you know what? So what, there's another sheriff in town, big deal? And then you shoot 6 outlaws? I imagine that put a fear into a lot of people and straightened this place out real quick. So right here, look at this door frame that's made out of brick. So I imagine they made it that little frame and then they put the rocks around it, just like you'd build, a house. You put the door frames up as you're doing it. But that is crazy how the wood's still standing and that wall's still there. And those little brick are just put around there for extra support. It evidently worked. You gonna try to go through there? Yeah. Go fast so it doesn't collapse. Good luck. There you go. Man, it is slippery. So one thing about Frisco is it's like any other mining town. It's got a lot of rock and I almost fell on them. If you heard that noise, that was me tripping. On February 12th of 1885, the Horn Silver Mine suffered a catastrophic collapse. The poorly supported 900-foot deep mine shaft gave way, delivering tremors that were felt as far away as Milford. And that's quite a ways away. I mean, it's like 15, 20 miles away. And so the collapse was that bad to where it just rumbled like an earthquake all the way to Milford. That's crazy. I almost have a hard time believing that would be the case because it's so far away, but I wasn't here when that happened, so who knows? But stories do get out of hand. So this is interesting, this little building here. What would this have been? If somebody knows, please let me know in the comments, because you can see there was a building here, but this is built out of a lot of wood and cement, so I don't know what they would have kept in here. A lot of people say a lot of these things are like powder houses or things for explosives, but this has a little window. Maybe you can hop in there and take a look. There's a window on this end. It's like something went in and out of there. So maybe it was just a storage building, but it's really interesting how it's built with tin around it. It looks like it collapsed a little bit on the top, but it looks like it had tin around the top. A lot of wood and cement. Who knows what this stuff would have been with the construction. The construction necessary for what they were doing then, but who knows how they were processing. Every mining town has a little bit different process. I guess the main frames and things are all kind of the same, but different. And I guess the construction is just what you need at the time to get the job done. So Frisco having no shortage of metal on the ground. All right, so I'm gonna go off the beaten path here a little bit. And if anybody knows what some of this was used for, that's into mining and knows about mining, has done mining, let me know. That is a heavy chunk of metal. Definitely looks like some kind of a hydraulic or pump situation. Not sure. Kind of looks like some kind of definitely something that had a belt on it and rollers to guide maybe the ore into a trough or something, because it comes up on an angle on both sides, and the rollers at the top. Let's head on up the hill and see what's up there. Maybe that'll be a hint as to what it is. Again, if you know, let me know. Here we go. This looks like more of it. Definitely some kind of a trough. With rollers on it. Well, we're out in the ghost town, in the middle of nowhere. And there's a quad out here racing around, if you hear that noise in the background. Well, this is another one that was standing. You can see the foundation of it there, the bottom of it, on those big like 10 by 10, 12 by 12 timbers. And the roof, where the window would have been, is all fallen down now. It's all here, it's just in a pile. This was actually called the Tent City at one time when it first started. Like all of them. Interesting little pieces sticking out of the ground. What they held up, what they were used for. I imagine it was like rail cars or little ore cars. Ways to transfer things around. Now, this is what we talked about last time. This is a big piece, and it was obviously some kind of a furnace because it has the brick in there. He's got fire brick. It goes all the way through the other end. So it's obviously something that was heated up or fired up. Maybe some kind of an exhaust up here on the top. If you know what that is, again, let me know. I haven't really seen one quite like this. And somebody is aware forever. Says so right there. There's a huge, almost looks like a manhole cover here. But this obviously went on the back side of this furnace, as I can see it would fit perfectly. Right there. See the bolt holes all around, or the bolts all around this one. Match the bolt holes. Those would come through on this. But who unbolted it and threw it on the ground? Mysteries. So up here, we noticed it's really level. And there was a train that ran from here to Newhouse Ghost Town. So they put tracks in, about 6 miles. And it's right here. They called it San Francisco, or Frisco, because the San Francisco mountains are right behind us there. And the San Francisco Peak is there as well. And it looks like they maybe dumped ore and things off of this. It's all built up on the other side. I'll share it with you. There's a big rock wall. There's a lot of wall built up there too. So they obviously ran tracks, or a train is where they loaded it, or they dumped it here from Newhouse and processed. It's all very confusing when it's just laying around in parts. There's water pipe here on the ground, and bigger chimney and stacks. It's a lot of sheet metal. This place in operation probably looked like a giant factory. Here's the walls, and you see some big timbers sticking out of there, so like railroad timbers. And then the furnace is way off in the distance. And I think at one point, they said that this was like a mine where this wall's at, and it's been all filled in. Not sure, but you can take a look. A lot of pipe running under my feet too, like water pipe. This has a lot of the big timbers around it. And there was some kind of a construction here for sure. Let's take a look. I don't know if this goes in the ground might have been a mine shaft. If you know, if somebody's familiar with Frisco, if that was an actual mine shaft, because there was a couple of hinges, like a door there, or if this was just a building. It was kind of strange how it's all framed out like it went in the ground and it got filled in. Again, I would have loved to have seen this in operation. I'm sure all this had buildings over the top of it. And then right here, there's just this random pipe going into the ground. It definitely was bolted in or something at one time, but what would that have been? Just random pipes going in the ground and foundations all around. Amazing location. If you ever get the chance to get to Frisco, definitely worth seeing. There's foundations on the ground that we're not even showing because there's so many of them. And even like this pipe that's going, what was it all for? All right, headed to the cemetery. Although mining, did return at a lower scale, the glory days were over by 1900, and the population dropped to 500 by 1912, and basically to 150 by the 1920s. And Frisco was nearly deserted. The post office closed around 1928-29, marking the town's final, abandonment. And here it sits. So what's left today, of course, is the charcoal kilns. And most iconic part of it is the kilns, because that was the thing that was the strongest, the thing that was strongest built, along with some of these foundations. But one of the things about the town's industrial park, it's kind of in ruins. That's what we were showing you. That's kind of nice to see that there's still a lot of it here. But the cemetery is also amazing. But it's filled with mostly children's graves that echoes the brutal hardships of what happened here in Frisco. So let's head on over there, visit that site, and show you a few more things on the way out. Got quite a few washboards and big washed out parts of the road here. But back to the highway. So it's what summit is 6,460 feet. It's quite the elevation here. I wish. So that over there is the mine. And I think that's the Silverhorn mine. There's a big hole in the side of the hill. They've blocked all that off. You can't get there anymore because they're still mining there, is what I understand. There's an old head frame up on the hill, buried right in the middle. And there's also a lot of old buildings out there. I wish we could get out there, but you just can't. Don't want to get in trouble. It's still a mining operation. That would probably be bad. But the cemetery is dead ahead. Well, we've made it to the cemetery. That road was pretty washed out, but definitely a lot of fun and worth it. Frisco Cemetery. Frisco Cemetery. This is a large cemetery. Last time we were here a couple years ago, there was a lot of damage from washing water through here. So who knows this time what'll happen, but every time it rains, you get monsoons in the summer and you have a harsh winter, the runoff really starts to damage this area. It's a lot of silt and sand in here as well, so the erosion is pretty big, pretty tough. A lot of these stones out here I feel were part of the graves that were here, but they've all moved, again, from the water and things that rush through here. First one you come across is boots on the ground. A little stick cross and one right next to it with a lonely little flower. Kind of sad to think, but all these folks were here to settle and make their riches. And a lot of them were here to cause problems and steal. And they're the ones that met the end of the sheriff's smoking gun. So here's a random pair of cowboy boots just rotting in the sun. I don't see that there's a plot here. Well, there's definitely a pair of old boots. So there's a headstone here that looks fairly old. Charles Odell, born at Poughkeepsie, New York. Hopefully I'm saying that right. October 19th, 1841. Died at Frisco, Utah. November 21st, 1898. Farewell to my wife and children, all from thee, a father. Well, it's kind of sad. But that's how it goes in the old ghost towns. You never know. And you don't know the reason either. A lot of people died from disease back then, but a lot of people also died from gunshots, mining accidents. I really like the wrought iron ones. They seem to last really well too, built well. The wood just erodes. But the iron seems to last forever. Very sad. 1895 to 1898, 3 years. Some unmarked. Another one here, 1901 to 1904. Nice wrought iron fence around that. This obviously had a gate on it and was a little different, but it looks like somebody might have taken a few pieces away from this. That was definitely a gate hooked on there. That'd be sad to think if somebody took pieces of this away. Look at all this up here. These are some old plots. 39 years, 2 months. It's funny, on a lot of these, the old headstones, they put how many months old they were as well. I've seen that in a lot of the old pioneer towns. I don't know about modern day cemeteries if they put the months on there. It just seems like they put the year. But it seems like the months were kind of important back then. They added them to a lot of the stones. I could be wrong, but it seems that way. And here's what I was talking about the iron versus wood plot. You can definitely see the difference right there. This is maybe a family plot. You can see all the stones outlining them. That bee literally sounded like it was talking. It's strange.
It is mostly babies.
It is. And this is Renstrom. So all three of these headstones are Redstrom. Renstrom, not Redstrom, sorry. And more plots here. You can see them outlined with the rock, but I think people are redoing these again because this is kind of high on the hill and the water will erode these and all of a sudden the rocks will just get covered. And here's some fairly old ones up here as well. Look at this headstone. It's just laying on the ground in pieces. And they put the wood around it. Crazy, I've never seen that. That's, at least they preserved it.
Roswell Hopkins.
Yeah, these are definitely older plots. The higher on the hill, so there's kind of a mound here. So higher on the hill is where the older plots are, because they probably put them on the hill first. That's what I believe. And then from then on down, they kept adding to the graveyard. I wonder if it's thought out, like when there's a graveyard put in a location like this, if they think about how many people are actually going to be in it when they put it on a location. I mean, I doubt it. I mean, did they know that there was going to be all this disease and all this disaster? I mean, they probably moved here thinking it was just going to be glorious and find their wealth and riches here mining, as most ghost towns, you hear those stories. But this is how it ends up. Because that time period, disease ran rampant. And then there was absolutely no infrastructure for safety in these mines, and they collapse and cables bust in and just getting ran over by wagons, just all kind of nonsense. Another 1-year-old. This is the whole family plot here as well. And these are older plots. Oh yeah, definitely older. And this one had a lot of, it's got a new headstone. But originally it was surrounded with the cement. And again, the wood has obviously fallen. And they just kind of laid it around where these plots are. Luckily, there's like a little trail that we're following down, but very difficult. I certainly don't like to walk on top of anything. Just try to be cautious. No writing on this one. Still getting used to the camera. Second time we filmed with it. So kind of bear with me. Flipping it around to look at all these objects. A little tough with this gimbal, but I'll get the hang of it. We've got an automatic mode on this, but love this camera. If you actually are interested in a great camera, even for photos, so easy to use. This is something you can just throw in your pocket or put in your purse or whatever. A little pricey, but they are really durable. And we've got a link in the description below. And if you want to buy one, you decide to buy it, you can buy it through that link, and it helps us, it supports the channel. We just get a little bit of an affiliate commission, and that we decided to do that because that'll help. It's pretty expensive getting out here and doing these things and traveling around. And YouTube, they don't do real well with paying on the commercials you see, the advertising that you see during the video. Sorry, that's annoying, but without those, you get nothing. So we've started a little affiliate program with putting some of the things up we use. The camera's one of them. And also, I'm also going to show you, there's going to put a short put up and a video about what we're using also. So we're using an O'Jerry fan and an O'Jerry light for camping and just for power outages and things like that, to have these handy in the house. I'm going to put them in the description. Check them out. They're really affordable, super durable. So check those out as well, but you'll see a video going up on those, and I'll include them in the video next time. And just check those out and see what you think. Again, they're affiliates, so we get just a little commission to help us travel and keep this channel going strong. Don't forget to like and subscribe and give it a thumbs up. You can turn on a notification to let you know when we put up new videos. We certainly appreciate it. We appreciate all of you that have been following the channel for years. We absolutely appreciate the comments as well. Really enjoy reading them and getting back to you. So I think we get back to every comment that's on there. So if you want to comment, have some questions, let me know. If there's a certain type of video you like to see from us and you love the content, let me know there as well, because we like to hear them. And again, we like to respond back to you. All right, so that's going to do it for today from Frisco Cemetery in Frisco Ghost Town, right outside of Milford. And until the next adventure, goodbye from Weekend Escapades. We're headed to our next destination.